welcome to our premiere of a Sea Lion Symphony. I'm Robin Davidoff, Sierra Club Seal Society Chair, and we have an exciting multimedia event for you tonight. So please take out your phones and turn them off. The Sierra Club Seal Society, the Sierra Club is the largest environmental group in the United States. And the Sierra Club Seal Society is probably the smallest, but the mightiest part of the San Diego chapter. The Seal Society is all volunteer run, and I have the pleasure to chair our leadership team, which includes Carol Toy, who's in the back, Ellen Shively, also in the back, and Carol Archibald, who will be speaking tonight, and a small group of very dedicated docents, and many of them are here tonight. The Seal Society's mission is to educate the public about the seals that live at the children's pool and the sea lions, my favorite, that live at Point La Jolla, a rocky outcropping next door to the La Jolla Cove. We offer the public safe viewing tips, and we answer lots of questions, like how do you tell a male from a female? Why are they darker than others? And our most frequently asked question, how do you tell a seal from a sea lion? I'll give you a hint. Tonight, you will only see sea lions. Our docents typically contribute over 2,000 volunteer hours at these two rookeries, educating the public annually. You can find us by we wear our blue t-shirts, and on the back it says, ask me about the seals, or ask me about the sea lions, so they were very easy to find. For the past 4 years, we've worked with city officials and the California Coastal Commission to gain protections for the 200 La Jolla resident sea lions. We spoke at every single Coastal Commission meeting in the two-minute intervals, sometimes lumping ourselves together so we could get 6 minutes of presentation time to educate the Coastal Commission about the harassments that were happening at the Sea Lion Rookery. 2 years ago, we actually, along with the help of many supporters like yourselves, convinced the city and the Coastal Commission to restrict public access to the Sea Lion Rookery during the sea lion birthing and breeding season. And just on November 1st, the city officially closed the area year-round. This allows the sea lions to raise their young in their natural habitat without any human interference. It keeps people safe, and keeps them away from the sea lions, and it offers them great viewing from the boardwalk above. Please be sure to stay after the performance so that we can answer your questions about sea lions. Now I'd like to introduce David Bowser, conductor of the Toronto Mozart Players. He conceptualized this multimedia event, wrote original music, and worked with videographer Paul Emus and poet Carol Archibald to bring you this event tonight. David has performed all over the world and is here tonight all the way from Toronto. Please join me in welcoming David Bowser.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here to share this experience with us. I first came to La Jolla in May of 2022 because I had heard one could likely see a sea lion or two. I had no idea what I would come across. The point was just covered with sea lions and the ocean was full, and I spent 10 days, about 10 to 12 hours a day, taking thousands of pictures, recording audio and video, and observing their fascinating behavior. And I was just so smitten because I could not believe this opportunity to experience these wild animals. And I didn't need to go over the wall. It was plenty. And I had the good fortune of meeting Carol Archibald during my several visits during those 10 days. And she, as a docent, was able to educate me further about the sea lions, and I was very, very happy to learn as much as I could. It was like a sponge, and I couldn't get enough. And then I subsequently learned that Carol was an accomplished published poet. And as a musician myself, I already had creative ideas flowing, and I knew something would come out of this experience that would give a very creative output. And I was able to read some of Carol's poetry, and I shared some of my music with her. And then she told me about Paul Emus and his fabulous videography and his work with drones. And he used his drones, and still does, to fly over the point and the area to do what he calls the situation, to see what the numbers are, to see how things may or may not impact the sea lines as far as tides and so on, and also to see how many people were there and where people were. And thanks to his contributions and the incredible work of the Sierra Club Seal Society, this kind of documentation has been very valuable to help protect the sea lions. And I really do commend the committee for their amazing work in accomplishing that feat. I pitched a proposal to the Sierra Club Seal Society, and I have to say they were just really, really supportive of this concept of combining the three artistic worlds that we represent, word, video, and original music, to create this multimedia piece that you're about to hear. So I want to really share my admiration and thanks to all the members of the Seal Society, and again, thank you for being here tonight. It's now my pleasure to welcome Carol Archibald and acknowledge our fantastic musicians, and of course Paul, and now invite you to enjoy the world premiere of A Sea Lion Symphony.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our premiere of A Sea Lion Symphony. I'm Robin Davidoff. I'm the Sierra Club Seal Society Chair. We have a wonderful multimedia event for you tonight. So please take a moment, pull out your cell phone, and put it on airplane mode. Thank you. The Sierra Club is the largest environmental group in the United States, and the Sierra Club Seal Society is probably the smallest, but mightiest, part of the San Diego chapter. The Seal Society is all volunteer run, and I have the pleasure to chair our leadership team, which includes Carol Toy, who helped check people in, she's down there, Ellen Shively, who's also in the back, Carol Archibald, over here, and a group of very dedicated docents that helped check in and get you to your seats. The Seal Society's mission is to educate the public about seals at the children's pool and the sea lions that live at Point La Jolla, a rocky outcropping next door to the La Jolla Cove. We offer the safe viewing techniques, and we also answer questions like, how do you tell a male from a female? Why are they different colors? And our most frequently asked question, what's the difference between a seal and a sea lion? So I'll give you a hint. Tonight you're only going to see my favorite, sea lions. Our docents typically contribute over 2,000 hours annually on site answering these types of questions. And we wear t-shirts, bright blue, saying, ask me about the seals or sea lions. So we're very easy to find. For the past 4 years, we've worked with city officials and the California Coastal Commission to gain protections for the 200 or so La Jolla resident sea lions. We spoke at every single California Coastal Commission meeting during public comment, and we mastered the 2-minute limit that they gave us. And I'm trying to keep this to 2 minutes as well. So after combining a couple of speakers in a row, we would often get 6 minutes of presentation time. We brought the awareness of the harassment that was going on down at Point La Jolla in terms of people harassing sea lions. We saw things like people throwing rocks at them, making loud noises, taking selfies, and unfortunately, petting newborn pups. So 2 years ago, we, along with many of you as well, helped us convince the Coastal Commission and the City of San Diego to close Point La Jolla during the sea lion pupping season. And that was about for 6 months of the year. And now, just on November 1st, just a couple of days ago, the city officially closed the area to the public year-round. This allows the sea lions to raise their young in their natural habitat without any human interference. It keeps people safe while they view from the boardwalk above. Please be sure to stay after our presentation today, and we can answer your questions about sea lions or seals. Now I'd like to introduce David Bowser, conductor of the Toronto Mozart Players. He conceptualized this multimedia event, wrote original music, and worked with our videographer, Paul Enos, and Carol Archibald, our poet, to bring this event to fruition. David has performed all over the world, and he's here tonight, all the way from Toronto. Please join me in welcoming David Bowser.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight to experience this world premiere. I first came to La Jolla in May of 2022 because I had heard I might see a couple of sea lions. And when I arrived, I was dumbfounded to see this entire colony at the rookery, a really wonderful access to wild animals, and I was really taken aback. I didn't feel the need to get close to them. I was happy to be on my side of the wall, and nonetheless was just so privileged, I felt, to spend 10, 12 hours a day for 10 days taking pictures, recording sound and video, and really observing their behavior and the hierarchy and the structure of their society, and found it just to be a fascinating experience that I'll never forget. And I had the good fortune during that 10-day period to meet Carol Archibald, who is, of course, a docent, and she educated me further about the sea lions, and I was like a sponge. I just wanted to learn everything that she could pass along. And so I encourage anyone who might want to learn more to ask questions of the docents, indeed. I would soon learn that Carol is also an accomplished, published poet. And as a musician myself, I had already had rumblings of a creative process that this experience would certainly foster. And so knowing that Carol's artistry could be part of this was extremely inspiring. And she shared some of her poetry with me, and I shared some of my music with her, and the idea of a collaboration was very, very quick to come. And then Carol told me about the great work of Paul Enos, who is a videographer and specializes in drone work, and does a lot of volunteer work for the Sierra Club Seal Society in documenting the numbers of sea lions, as well as the number of people who tend to perhaps go over the wall at the time anyway. And so that invaluable work spawned the idea of a creative process that involved video. And so with these three art forms coming together, the concept that I came up with really is what you're going to see tonight, but it couldn't have been realized without the incredible contributions of these two artists. And I also want to acknowledge the exceptional support of the Sierra Club Seal Society, because when it was pitched to them, they received this idea with great enthusiasm, and it really, it's taken a year, but it's come together, and I'm very grateful for their efforts and their support. So I'm happy to acknowledge and welcome our excellent musicians, who it's been an absolute joy to work with, and Carol and Paul, and invite you to enjoy this world premiere of A Sea Lion Symphony.
today. to survival, to perpetuity. Females are ready to mate. Males fight fiercely for territory. Win most of the females, pose like kings on the beach, surrounded by their harems. Moms picked them up by their neck like mother cats to guide them. acrobats, putting human surfers to shame. Than sea lions frolicking on a sapphire sea, shafts of sunlight streaming through. Sea lions are the only marine mammal who swim with their front flippers. They bring their flippers together in a sweeping motion, like wings flapping, to propel their bodies in the water. We just tag them angels of the sea. close to their bodies and glide with the grace of a swan and the skill of acrobats, tumbling, spinning, cartwheeling in circles. They swim at great speeds, faster than dolphins, slower than porpoises. When the surf is high, sea lions plummet into the crest of waves. Their stout bodies surrender to the surge and swell, become an intrinsic part of each wave, rising and falling like driftwood. At the end of each wave, they leap and loop in the air, then plunge head first in a perfect Olympic dive into the peak of the next wave. After strenuous surfing sessions, sea lions cling together to rest by forming a large floating raft. They raise one slipper out of the sea to help them stay warm, while the other serves as a keel to keep them afloat. At dusk, some sea lions still play in the rising tide, riding the waves. Others leave the crashing sea to rest and warm in the last rays of the sun. Some pose in silhouette in the fading light. Most cuddle in groups on shore. Their song at sunset is a cacophony of choristers who sing in a muddled jumble of chaotic confusion. Males barking alto, loud, commanding, females shrilling soprano, pups joining in with squealing cries. Their song, a language of meaning, heard only by those who listen. Is this their tribute thanks for the day? Their beauty, their communal cohesion, their cuddling, crowding, climbing over and under each other, pups propped next to or on top of their moms, the commitment of mothers, bulls prancing back and forth, barking orders to protect them. watching this scene, so joyous, so sublime, as if adrift in a wondrous dream, on a quest to find the right words to plant this place in my heart. Beautiful in this world, and I am unable to wake up, to pull myself away, to leave. The sun sleeps, the family of sea lions nods off. It is the end of another day. And the final notes of a sea lion symphony fade into the night. We're open for questions about this.
So how big is the colony now, and when did it start, more or less? Because it
Well,
hasn't
it's a long
always...
time in coming, but for the last 2 years, there's about 150 to 200 sea lions. We do have bulls that migrate from Mexico. And, yeah.
But for how many years?
I stayed that for 5 years, and it's been very steady. Next question.
Anybody else have any questions? Oh, back there. I see a question. Elena.
I couldn't hear Carol's answer. We were just saying, louder for the back.
Thank you. Okay, wasn't that wonderful to see all of that with no people?
Where was this filmed?
The question was, where was this filmed? Right here in La Jolla. All of it. All of it.
Okay, because I can swim away when I mean,
Yeah, it's fall in this room, yes. All of that was at the Sea Lion Rookery at Point La Jolla. It's called Boomer Beach, where we saw those big waves. Yeah, so that's where we live. It's called Boomer Beach. Most people don't know where it is. It's where the sea lions were on the sand sometimes and on the rocks. It's a very dangerous beach with rocks and reefs, so people don't really swim there. And with the closure, there is an open access area that remains open for experienced people, but they have to maneuver, around the sea lions. Yes.
How long did it take to film the entire thing?
Question is, how long did it take to film this?
Every year.
I don't know, over the years I've collected lots of footage and we just clipped it together. And actually there's one clip from the National Geographic that we got permission to use. It's not in La Jolla, but other than that, it's all in La Jolla.
That was the bird.
That was the bird, yes.
In La Jolla,
When the mothers got to the bird, seems like they hide from it.
you can't get the whole bird. We found this, actually Paul found it, and it was National Geographic. They gave us permission to use it.
What's the story behind this collaboration? How did this start? We did, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Retract that.
all of us, or,
We covered it. Sorry.
It really was just such an inspiration that I found being at the point and experiencing all of that, and then meeting Carol and understanding the opportunity that presented itself through our artistry, and then meeting Paul, which just took it to another level. I've taken pictures. I thought maybe I would put a slideshow together originally, right? Nothing compared to what's been accomplished here. So it really is taking our three different skill sets and finding that marriage of sorts. So it was a concept that I came up with, but really very much based on the inspiration that my colleagues provided.
Does the society keep track of how many seals are there and how it grows?
Yes, so we have been counting sea lions now for about 2 years, and there are we count them in 7 different areas. The numbers do fluctuate over the year. So if you were here at the beginning of this year, there were very high numbers, which was very exceptional. We had about 500, but then normally we have about 100, between 150 and 200. And after, I think, the beginning of the year where we had the big storms that brought more of them to us, and then we also had what's called a squid run, where millions and millions of squid come into the area, lay their eggs, and then die. So this is very easy pickings for the sea lions. So that attracted them. But what was interesting is that once that source of food depleted, we came back down to the normal numbers that we have between 150 and 250, and that's been since about 2017.
Is there danger for the sea lions?
Is it dangers? I mean, the normal dangers that they face, harassment sometimes. But then, boat strikes. I mean, their natural predators are sharks as well. But most of the sea lions live on the Channel Islands off LA, and there are over 100,000. So, that's what we have here is usually very small.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to add that this sea lion rookery, that's where they're born, is the only one on the west coast of California. So it's very unique. And we're really lucky to have that. And we have the harbor seals at the children's pool. We have nesting cormorants. I mean, there was an article recently in the paper that said that La Jolla has more diversity of fish and mammals than any other place in the United States. That was crowdsourced. So, there's a question. Yes.
Any plans to share with a larger audience outside of La Jolla?
The question was, any plans to share this with more people in La Jolla?
Outside of La Jolla?
Outside of La Jolla?
Yeah, bigger
Well,
audience.
that's David can answer.
With great enthusiasm. A dear friend from Toronto or Kitchener is in the audience tonight. He's been a really fine supporter. Dave Warnica, thank you for being here. He is helping just to have us sniff around other areas to see what might come. I also have a colleague coming tomorrow, and I've been pitching it to a few different people. So if you have any ideas, we were thinking all the zoos and aquariums, but any symphony orchestra, any film production company, so we do want to share this. And we've all donated our resources, by the way. This is all giving of ourselves to bring awareness around the sea lions. So that's our goal.
We're all volunteers, and that's how this came about. Other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to answer one question nobody asked. So what's the difference between a seal and a sea lion? Okay, all of those were sea lions. The biggest thing to know is that sea lions have those very long flippers in the front and in the back. They can rotate their pelvis in the back, and so they can walk on all fours. So we saw them climbing rocks and swimming and all those things. But seals are very different. They have very short flippers in the front with little claws. So they can't climb. They have to scoot on their bellies. So they'll mostly be on low rocks during low tide, or they'll be on beaches. So that's the main difference. Of course, sea lions are bigger than seals, and there's weird differences and so on. But that's the main difference between a seal and a sea lion. And sea lions are quite noisy as well, and they love being on top of each other. Seals are very shy. They like social distance. So they're very different. Kathy.
Speaking of noise, could I ask for an encore from the orchestra to do some sea lion sounds again? And I was curious if that's the first time you all had ever made sea lion sounds with your instruments. I'd love to hear a finale of a chorus of sea lion sounds by
You're taking an encore by request. Wherever it is, someone to It says in the score, barking like a sea lion.
Any other questions? Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. This was amazing to come to our world premiere of the Sea Lion Symphony. Thank you for your support.
Into the night.
think we have some questions and answers that are going to happen now.
Do you see how the social milieu of the sea lions, their society, is very much intact? Very much so. Just like the apes and elephants and other species.
Now I want to invite the rest of the leadership team up. Ellen, are you able to make it? While she's coming up here, please think about what kind of questions you might have for us about what you just saw, these wonderful sea lions, the behaviors that they are distributing. And also, what is so amazing is that Paul was able to film all of this without any people, because we have the area closed. Otherwise, this would be impossible. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, there we go.
My first question is about the drones. Is this a no-fly zone for the public drones, and did he have special permitting to do this?
No, it's not a no-fly zone, and, you know, I try not to get accused of harassing wildlife, but actually, the sound of the surf is so loud that they don't hear the drone, and I can get pretty close, and they, you know, I have low noise propellers, and, anyway, you see a lot of people flying drones around the country.
Yeah, he's also a licensed commercial drone operator.
And are you using telephoto lenses?
No, I have a 6K drone, so I could crop in, you know, and I have a new drone now that zooms, but this was just a 4K and a 6K drone.
Thank you.
Yes, in the back.
Well, maybe everybody else in the room already knows the answer, but I have to ask, what actually is the difference between?
No, that's actually our most frequently asked question, so I'll be glad to answer that one. So these were all California sea lions. California sea lions are all sea lions. They have long flippers in the front and the back, and they're able to rotate their pelvis so that their back flippers turn around, and they can walk on all fours, and that's why they're able to climb the rocks. Seals, on the other hand, have very short flippers in the front. They barely touch the ground. They have little claws, and so they have to scoot on their bellies in order to move. So they will be on beaches or on low rocks that they can get onto during the low tides. There's also other little things like sea lions had little ear flaps like we do. Sea lions are bigger than seals, and what else?
The vocalization.
The vocalization, yes, thank you, yeah.
I read the sign and the color.
Do you know what a male, a big bull weighs? Do you know?
880 pounds. So the color is that the sea lions have a single color. At birth, they're all very, very dark brown with the black. And as they grow, they differentiate between the sexes. The females become different shades of brown, and the males become more and more black as time goes on. Oh, sorry, and then the harbor seals have spots.
What's the local population? Is it going to be expanding and growing up the coast?
Yeah, we have a local, we count them on a regular basis, so we count them both through the drones, and we also have people counting from the shore. We divide the area into 7. So we do those regular counts, every week. And what we're finding is there's between 150 and 250 in the area year round. The females and the juveniles and the pups will stay year round. There is a migratory impact from males who will migrate up north in the winter. And then at some periods of the time, we've had, especially at the beginning of this year, we had quite a lot of them because we had the big storms, and we also had a squid run. And the squid run is when a lot of squid come into the area and lay their eggs, and then they die. So it's easy picking for the sea lions, of course. So we had a very high number, but what was interesting is once that temporary amount of food went down, the population went right down back to about between 150 and 250. And that's stayed constant since 2017. So in 2017, there was a very comprehensive 1-year count, and they come up with between 200 and 300. So the numbers are not actually going up in our area.
How long does it take for the pups to swim?
It takes 3 to 4 months for the pups, after they're born, to learn how to swim well in the big ocean, okay? Good question.
Yes.
I have a question regarding with the composer. Did you lay down the music or the composition after seeing the footage, and then how did the symphony practice in order to synchronize with the footage?
Thank you for that question. So I said earlier it took a year or so to accomplish this project, and the first 8 months of that, I would say, and then even a few more weeks after, was about the film. So I designed a storyboard, so the series of scenes in their order to try to give an arc to the concept, and Paul provided so much wonderful footage, and some of it we actually went out and saw after the fact because we had a few ideas we wanted to fill with footage that hadn't yet been captured, so he was able to do that too. So once the film was pretty much complete, I had already devised a few ideas musically, but I needed to time it and pace it and try to find the emotions that would accent or enhance or at least not get in the way of the image. And so that was a 4-month process of just composing the music and trying to match it as best I could. And you might have seen me peeling up here with an earpiece, and that's because there's a click track that only I hear, which allows the music to be coordinated. It's relatively closely, and so we cheated just a little bit there. And the musicians, being so skillful, were able to follow the gesture with just me hearing the click track and keeping that tempo, and that's how we were able to achieve that.
The music was really beautiful. I enjoyed it so much.
How did you conceive of the sound to make the musicians play the sound of the sea lions?
I can, with quite a lot of confidence, say it's the first time that musicians have been asked to imitate sea lions. And I think in the score it says, gives a notation of pitches and a glissando, so a slide, and it says, like the barking of a sea lion. And so we collaborated on that process just a little bit to try to make it as sea lion-like as possible. But it was an experiment.
Perfect.
I thought coordinating the poetry with the music was amazing. Yes.
Yes, thank you. That's David just prompting you. Thank you.
Amazing.
I have the poetry in my music, so I tried to create moments where there would be a slightly calm enough moment for the poetry to not be covered and still accented by the music and so forth.
Right. It seemed to really fit the scene and just literally fit to just amazing.
Is this the largest sea lion colony in
Yeah, no, the largest colony of sea lion is on the Channel Islands. So on the channel islands, there are literally hundreds of thousands of them. That's where the main population is. So, but this is the only rookery on the California coastline, and so it's really special that we have that here. But yeah, by no means the largest. There are just, thousands of them.
How long are the females pregnant for?
9 months. Yeah, just like us. That's one of the things that we always say. We always say, just like us, because we want people to try and have that empathy and understand that, that's why we should try and protect them and respect their space.
And one other question that people often ask is, how many do they have at a time? And it's only one. 9 months to make a baby, just like us. They only have one, and you saw how helpless they are for quite some time. And that's why they nurse for up to a year. So that's another reason why we needed to get the area closed for their protection. Never twins. We did have this year where a mom adopted an abandoned baby. Nobody thought that it would survive, but we're pretty sure it has. Yeah, pretty unusual.
Good job, Grandma.
We had a question about the credits. Lindblad is listed, and I'm wondering if they gave donations or if they actually did some of the filming, what their role was.
Well, we got permission from National Geographic, and we had to research who it was, and now I spent, weeks trying to get a birthing video, but, it happened so quick, you just can't get it, so we had to use this National Geographic video. It was the only shot that's not in La Jolla, actually. The rest of it is mostly in La Jolla.
It seems that in La Jolla, where they are, at Point La Jolla, they hide when they're doing work. We really have trouble doing that, so this worked out, yeah.
As Carol said earlier, the moms and the babies.
Do they generally stay in the same area, or do they migrate
all year? And then the males
to other areas
they
of
go
California?
north. So some might go to Pier 39
If it's known.
San Francisco. Yeah, so as Carol said earlier, we have moms, old babies that are hanging out and stay in the area in Harvard all year. And then the males do go on, they go north. So some might go to Pier 39 in San Francisco and hang some bachelor group there. That we have been told there's some that are hanging out on the raft in Oceanside, Harvard. But yes, so they do this thing here, and with the on that Carol was talking about, where there's 7 different areas, so starting some go as far as the Cape in Alaska, and they do move around quite a bit. So it's not a long swim, but we're trying to track them just for a while. But yes, so they stay here, and with the county that Carol was talking about, we cover 7 different areas, so starting in the work, we don't know, we're all volunteers, we're not scientists, and they do move around quite a bit at UCSD. We're trying to track them, try to figure out why. What time of the year do they move? Is there something happening with the weather? Something happening with the food supply? So average lifespan, we don't know. We're all volunteers, we're not scientists. Years in the wild. So we're trying to get UCSD and sort of oceanography interested in studying that for us.
And what's the predation like?
Thank you. And the average lifespan?
Especially the juvenile white sharks.
Great question. So average lifespan of a sea lion is about 20 years in the wild, about 25 in captivity.
In the area, there are lots of different sharks in this area.
And what's the predation like out here with especially the juvenile white sharks?
But the ones that would really be dangerous to them would be, so as you've just alluded to, there are juvenile white sharks in the area. There are lots of different sharks in this area, eel sharks, horn sharks, and those are sharks generally we see. But the ones that would really be dangerous for them would be white sharks. But the ones that we have in this area are mostly further north toward Hines and so they not there. And those are mostly juvenile. We know that because we've been in contact with that's when they move to Channel Islands, and they have established that great whiting establishment there. So they get up there, and then they very attractive. And also we know that, and then luckily for us, then they moved to the Channel Islands, because if you've got hundreds of thousands of sea lions on the Channel Islands, are near 200 are not really very attractive. And also we know that so yes, we know that most of these young white sharks really eat backwards, and so if there were many big, they don't have big animals around that stage. They don't have the right teeth, so we're very lucky, unlike the East Coast. So so yeah, we know they're all juveniles because they have adults who are cannibals. So if there were many big adults around, they would actually be eating the young ones. So we're very lucky, unlike the East Coast, where
the shark
they don't have the Channel Islands,
that we
the big adults will come from.
They also spend a lot of time tagging the juvenile white sharks in the Torrey Pines area. And the boobies, I just wanted to add one thing about that. There's also, it's the shark that is how they reach there like that 2 years old. They get our information from. They also spend a lot of time tagging all of a sudden the juvenile white sharks in the Torrey Pines area and the boobies. And there's also, if they do ping a lot, the shark goes by. There's a system. And then when they reach their like about 2 years old, they 12 feet long. The sharks in the area all the time. All of a sudden they don't get pings anymore. They're not interested in us. It's very good. And there's also they do ping a lot. And there's a system. They're there all the time. You can see online put up signs that sharks footage. The sharks are in the area all the time over the Torrey Pines, the shores. They're not interested in us. We don't taste very good. We're pretty bony. And so they're there all the time. You can see online from footage, people are paddleboarding, surfing,
yes,
and they
they
just
can go
kind
out
of get out of the
very
way.
far. And sometimes we're always told they can go out for days and then come back.
How far do they have to go out to sea to feed?
However, probably the reason why we have yes, they can go out very far, and sometimes we're always told they can go out for days, so we have them and then come back, and that's why it's less common. And these, however, probably the reason why we have this rookery in this area, I think that that's the reason why, is that we have these very deep canyons. So we have the La Jolla Canyon, other areas of Symphony, and these are much deeper water than anywhere else, which means there's a lot more marine life. The water is colder. And we think that that's the reason why they've established a rookery here. And this is why this is the only rookery. The other area, of course, where we have deep canyons is Monterey, and that's where there's a big, there's a big population as well.
There's something called site affinity, so they always come back to where they were born. Sea lions are the family of sea lions, if you will. There's something called site affinity, so they always come back to where they were born, where the other sea lions are, the family of sea lions, if you will. The bulls weigh about 800 pounds. They can weigh that much. That's why you don't want to get near them. And the females weigh about 350, 400, something like that.
The weight.
The bulls weigh about 800 pounds. They can weigh that much. That's why you don't want to get near them in a while. And the females can weigh about 350, 400, something like that.
Miller, who's very well known.
And then the pups, when they're born, they weigh 16 to 20 pounds. It takes them a while.
How intelligent they are, what super athletic. I just finished a book by Anne Miller, who's very well known naturalist. And she was the scary in the groups describing all characteristics of the animals what how intelligent they are. You can imagine no finer sight. And
Would you like to hear that? Just a little musician mimic sea lions again? Yes. Encore. You're barking.
Good job. Very nice. Thank you, Paul.
You too. I enjoyed the music. It's so powerful. It's really
Yes, we do.
I just wanted to say how much we are super crew people like got to come and watch, and it was so much fun. We're so glad you guys. Yeah, names that recognize you guys. Yeah, you know, Tim and I actually met working at La Jolla Kayak down in La Jolla, so we were always right around the sea lions, and you know, I'm so happy that it's finally closed now.
I can smell it just watching.
No, actually, we're trainers. Yeah, and I'm so sorry. The close connection to
Boy, they were sticking it to the